Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It's so good to be here. Now, I've got to ask before I start. My name is Dave Hardy. I'm the Secretary of Revenue for Huntington Justice. But I've got to ask about this fine-looking group from where are you folks from? Marshall class or student government or?
3 of us are from student government.
Okay. Well, it's wonderful to have you here today. Maybe I can try to explain some complicated tax policy to you in a way that you can understand it, because it's really complicated and it's got a lot of history behind it. So we'll have some fun here today with this. And of course, our guest of honor will not be sitting here. Our guest of honor will be sitting down here, okay? You can guess who that will be. Okay. Again, I'm Dave Hardy. I'm Secretary of Revenue for the Governor. And those of you that don't know me, I was a Cabell County Commissioner for 16 years before I took the position of Secretary of Revenue. So I love being in a county commission courtroom. This is where it happens, right here. This is where plans are made to be sure that ambulances arrive on time. This is where plans are made to be sure that we're ready if we have a countywide or statewide disaster. This is local government right here, and this is where it really counts. The governor, of course, will be here in a few minutes. Let me tell you about my journey with the governor. We took office together in January of 2017, and the first set of financial reports that were handed to us said we were in fiscal year 17. We were halfway through, and we were $217 million in the red, right out of the box. Now, a little civics lesson here. State government's got to balance the budget. We can't deficit spend. So we're $217 million in the hole. And the second financial report that was handed to the governor and myself showed for fiscal year 18, we were supposed to be $497 million in the red. So you added those two numbers up, our starting point 5 years ago was $700 million deficit. That was our starting point. Now I'm going to move you to this past June, June 30th of 2022. We close our books midnight on June 30th. That's when we close them. West Virginia this year, fiscal year 22, we posted a $1,308 million surplus for the people of West Virginia. Now, I think we should give ourselves a collective round of applause for that. The governor said to me, we need to cut taxes. We need to do it now. So we started doing our research, and we found that 9 states don't have an income tax. States that generally you'd be familiar with, of course, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Nevada, South Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska, they don't have a state income tax. And what we found was those states in the last 10 years, their population has grown at twice the rate of the other 41 states. We found that their economies have grown 56% faster than the other 41 states. So the governor said, I'm going to swing for the fences here. I'm going to put a plan in place to try to eliminate the state income tax in West Virginia. So we took our first swing, first week of July. The governor called a special session. He said, I'm going to cut the state income tax by 10% right now, today. That would have put $271 million back in West Virginians' pockets immediately. Not next year, this year, 2022. The House of Delegates approved that plan in one day and passed it over to the West Virginia State Senate. The West Virginia State Senate refused to hear the plan, would not put it on the agenda, would not allow for a vote to put $271 million tax cut back in your pocket. The question then became why? The question was, and the answer was, Amendment number 2. Now let me tell you about Amendment number 2. In November of 1932, that's 90 years ago next month, the people of West Virginia, remember the Constitution can only be amended by vote of the people. So that's why we don't do it very often. The people of West Virginia voted that property tax revenue, real estate tax, personal property tax on vehicles, motorcycles, boats, cars, trailers, whatever, will remain with the local governments. By local government, I'm talking about the county government, like this courthouse, the city government, like Mayor Williams, the city of Huntington, and the other cities. There are 234 cities in the state of West Virginia, and our schools. So the property tax revenue, which is about $500+ million a year, is baked in the Constitution that that revenue will stay with county, city, and local school boards. It does not get sent to Charleston and budgeted back. Amendment number 2, however, which will be voted on starting this Wednesday with early voting, allows the legislature, by amending the Constitution, it allows the legislature to have control over the property tax revenue. In other words, it is no longer guaranteed to go to local governments. Instead, the property tax revenue is sent to Charleston, and every year, the legislature and the governor, forevermore, for the next 100 years, the legislature and the governor, with his signature, will decide how much of that revenue to give back to the individual cities and counties. So, sounds great today, right? We got a budget surplus today. I'm sure the legislature today would be able to budget back Cabell County its money, Wayne County, all the other 53 counties. But learn from history. The only thing that's new is the history you haven't read. All right? Look at the history of West Virginia and other states too with our budget. We have floods. We have Medicaid. We have PEIA. We have jail bills. We have retirement system. We have all sorts of things that the state of West Virginia funds. If Amendment 2 is passed, all the local governments will be in the same place as all the state expenses. In other words, you'll get in line, go to the Capitol with your hat in your hand, and you'll ask the legislature every year, every spring, to budget your money back to you. So that is what's on the ballot with Amendment number 2. So if you vote yes for Amendment number 2, you're saying, I trust the West Virginia legislature and every governor from this day forward to always budget our money back to us. If you vote no on Amendment number 2, you are saying, I kind of like what happened 90 years ago, when the people of West Virginia put in our budget and in our Constitution, I should say, a guarantee that local property tax revenue stays local. And the philosophy behind that was, local government knows better what you need here than Charleston does. So that's what's in front of you today, and that's why we're here, to have a conversation about this. And again, the governor, I believe, has just arrived, so let me say, this governor is the man that has always told us the truth, and he's taken us from bankruptcy to over-the-chart revenue surpluses. The 36th governor of the state of West Virginia, the Honorable Jim Jessup.
Well, I asked y'all if y'all wanted me to bring Babydog. Anyway, thank you for having me, and thank you for having Babydog. And Drew, we got to get a bottle of water because I got to get Babydog a drink at some point.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Anyway, gosh, I walked 18,000 miles to get here. How'd y'all make it? You got a really important day coming up here in a really short period of time. I'm sure you've heard from our Secretary of Revenue, and he's told you some good stuff. And I know you've got commissioners and council men and women, and lots and lots of different folks here, okay? But let me just say just this. I'm the guy that when I really passionately believe about something, I think I need to come and talk to y'all. Because at the end of the day, you get it right. You really do. Over and over and over. Now, you got to listen to me, because I am telling you that, and I just told the lady that drives with me a lot on the way down here, I said, you know, maybe you don't think this way, or maybe others don't think this way, but I'm telling you, you know, I took over as your governor. There's a whole bunch of seats right up here if y'all want to go up here.
If y'all want to come on in, some of y'all want to come in and go front.
Come on up here. Babydog will talk to you up here.
That's what you have.
I'm full service.
You gotta take care of her. She's gotta have a drink. Now look, just so everybody will be real happy here, you know, this one. When I get ready to leave and I'm done, if y'all listen to me halfway good, after I'm done, I'll sit right here and Babydog and I have you come up, take all the pictures you want to take, see Babydog, all that. That'd be great with me. Okay. Now, I gotta have a napkin drink. She's going. She's good. All right. Okay. Get back in your little bungalow there. Okay, how about that? You did it. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. Now y'all may think I've really trained her a lot of stuff. I haven't done anything with her. Nothing. Really and truly, it's the beatingest thing in the world. And the reason I say that is just this, is, you see, our kids gave her to Kathy and I, and then, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And at Christmas, there's a little puppy, Christmas ago. This Christmas it'll be 3 years. But she just is turning 3 like tomorrow. And I think it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow or the next couple of days. Anyway, they hand her to me and to Kathy and I, and as a little puppy, and I thought, oh my goodness, I know what this thing's growing into. And it's going to be nothing but a little puppy. It's going to be a 60-pound brown watermelon, and that's what she Well, at the time we had 2 Boston Terriers that were in the bed with us every night. Well, now we've lost one of those because she was pretty old and she died and everything. But now Babydog has, well, she instantly, now we had 3, now we only have 2 in the bed every night, but one of them's Babydog. And I'll roll over, this happens all the time. And there'll be her face, like right there. It'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll say, how you doing, Babydog? You know, and she'll just lick me or whatever. But she's a wonderful, wonderful companion. But I say it, and I mean, I know I'm right about this, is the thing that I really believe is the definition of coincidence is an everyday occurrence in which God chooses to remain anonymous. Think about that. Well, where'd she come from? And how in the world is a bulldog so loving to everybody? You know, everybody. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor, or young or old or whatever. And for sure, Republican or independent or Democrat, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Black, white, nothing mattered. And the other thing she did, she made everybody smile. Now, Now she's gonna probably bed down now. She's on the same diet that I'm on. But, and on the way down here, she had chicken nuggets. So anyway, the biggest thing of this whole thing is just one thing. You know, if I ever write books, the title of the books are always going to begin with, the easy stuff is always the tough stuff to find. It really is. You think about all the inventions you've seen where all kinds of people say, well, I could have done that, but you didn't. You know, at the end of the day, if somebody in your neighborhood is selling their house and it's been on the market for $250,000 for 11 months, and they decide to lower the price to $235,000 and they sell it, then it's almost like we have an obligation. 10 people in the neighborhood said, well, I'd have done that. But they don't. You know, at the end of the day, the easy stuff is always the toughest stuff to find. Easy stuff with her, she made everybody smile, she loves everybody. Why can't we all be that way? Why can't we all be just that way? Now, I'm telling you from, and our mayor, thank you for coming, and thank all y'all from the standpoint of commissioners or council people or whomever it may be. But let me just tell you just this. And here's what I think. I've been your governor now for 6 years. I saw when it was really bad, and I've seen when it's been really good. I've seen when we've had all kinds of issues that we've changed and made a lot better. We're diversified. We've got lots and lots and lots of people coming to West Virginia now. Big companies coming, everybody in the world looking at us. I mean, everything we've been all encompassing. Not only did we just say coal, 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 we didn't forget coal, we didn't forget gas, but we've embraced the alternatives, whether it be wind or solar or whatever it may be. We've absolutely upgraded our parks, we've done everything in the world, and it's worked. It's really going. We want to keep it going. Now, the net of the whole thing, though, as I see it, is just this. I would have never, to use old West Virginia slang, I would have never thunk it. No way. No way would I have ever thunk what happened. You know, what happened was this. I said in July, with the guidance of these people, I said, let's do a 10% income tax break for everybody because everybody's hurting. You got inflation eating everybody alive. Gas prices have gone all the way to $5, and we didn't know where they were going to go. Nobody knew. The grocery stores, out of the grocery store this morning on Fox News, Steve Ducey said he was in a grocery store the other day and had to pay $8 for a bottle of ketchup. I mean, you know what that's about. You know exactly what that's about. So from my standpoint, I say, tell you what, let's do. Let's do a 10% tax cut and put the money immediately right into people's hands. $254 million immediately right into people's hands. The House passed it in a day. I said, well, this is done. And then it stopped. It just and stopped. I couldn't believe it. I said, what in the world's going on? What could possibly be going on? And the deeper I dug, what you got was, and you may not like this and everything, if you're one of those folks or believers, believe the way they think, but what you've got is the swamp. Now, a lot of you young rascals that are here, listen really close to me because I'm still a big kid, you know, and I mean, nobody could be hauling around a bulldog and flashing a bulldog's hind end at Bette Midler if they weren't a big kid. Really. And 2 or 3 days ago, I was you. You know, I was right here on campus, loved it beyond good sense, think it's the greatest school in the land, owe so much of my life to it, it's unbelievable. But now, so really pay close attention to me on this. You know, when we refused to even vote on it in the Senate, the 10% tax break that gave $254 million to our people that basically were really hurting because this inflation thing, something had to be up. Now the swamp, the definition of the swamp in DC is, here's what happens. People are elected to the House and Senate. Then you've got the lobbyists that are here that have all the money. And they go to the Senate and the House and everything and try to basically influence them for their vote on something. The lobbyist or somebody that represents the Sierra Club or big giant corporations or whatever it may be. The big giant corporations are the ones that are interested in the vote, and the lobbyist is just the middleman. He's the guy with the money. Now, and what he does is he promises campaign donations and he promises all this stuff. If you want to run for the next election, you want to run for the highest office or whatever you want to run for, we'll support you. That's what happens. That's the swamp. Those people, those senators and House members, are supposed to represent the people. But oftentimes they get wrapped up in representing themselves. Now that's what they do. That's the swamp. Well, what in the world? Please, somebody explain how in the world could this have happened if we were just representing the people? We want to give a 10% tax cut to all the people and give them $254 million. And on top of that, we have these unbelievable surpluses and we can do it and not even know we're doing it. Why don't we do it? Why didn't we do it? Well, the reason we didn't do it is because they had made promises to whomever it may be, manufacturing, big business, whomever it may be, that literally at the end of the day, like it or not like it, they had to have all the money. And so the $254 million that went to you, which I call Toby and Edith, went right out the window. Now it gets way worse than that. Then what they did, in order to get you to vote for Amendment 2, what did they do? They came up and they said, tell you what we'll do. And they bragged about it. Guys, this is the thing that blows you away. They bragged about it. They went all over the place and said, we'll tell the people we're getting rid of their car tax, and every one of them will vote for it. They've deceived you. They have. There's no cut any way you can cut this other than that. They tricked you. Now, so from my standpoint, I had to figure a way to get the car tax thing off the table. And I did it. I did it. With the help of this man right here, we did it. We came up with a way to be able to give you all the money back that you pay dollar for dollar, cent for cent that you pay on your car tax immediately. Now they came up and they come back and they say, oh, it'll take a long time. Bull feathers. It ain't gonna take any time at all. Hours, maybe. You know, and we'll give you back dollar for dollar, cent for cent, all your car tax, the monies you pay on your car tax. So the car tax issue is gone. It's gone. I don't care what anybody says, that's gone. So, now here's what you're doing. So it's even one step, two more steps worse. The one step worse is just this. Now you're voting for Amendment 2, not to get your car tax paid for, because I've got that covered. I've got that so covered it's unbelievable. That's done. Now you're voting for Amendment 2 to change the Constitution. That allows, if you change the Constitution, what that allows, it allows the legislature, your income stream that's coming for all your stuff, your income stream that basically pays your policemen and your firemen and a bunch of to schools and all kinds of stuff, now it's gone. If Amendment 2 passes, it's gone. It's gone, okay? Because what happens then is we take and we annihilate the machinery and inventory tax. And I'd ask you just one more question. Who in this room benefits the most? 100 billion to 1, the most of anybody in this room if we pass Amendment 2. It's me. It's me. And I'm the guy sitting here saying, don't do it. It's me. Do you realize my companies would get millions of dollars if we pass Amendment 2? And I can sit on the sideline, not say anything, and just rake in the money, dance all the way to the bank. And we need the money. It's not like we don't need the money. We need the money. But absolutely, I didn't sign up for that, did I? I signed up for this job to do it as it's supposed to be done, to serve. I signed up for this job absolutely for you, and I didn't sign up for this job to do something for me. Now, I'm a different animal, but I didn't sign up for this job for nothing for me. Now, you can buy that or not buy it, and my dad would say, and listen to me really closely, my dad would say, son, if I know and the good Lord knows, that's all that matters. Well, I'll promise you in this, I know and the good Lord knows what I'm telling you is a gospel fact. Now, so, if you pass Amendment 2 and the income stream leaves as far as now you have a guarantee the money will come to the county. If you pass Amendment 2, now the money's gone and Charleston is in complete control. Then what you'll have to do is this. Every February you'll have to go to Charleston and get in line and beg Charleston to absolutely cover your services in the county. Then what happens is if we have a bump in the road and they can't, you're toast. Now, from my standpoint, I could not be here. I could pick up millions of dollars not being here. I could sit silent on the sideline. And at the end of the day, really and truly, what's going to happen is not good. You see, and I say this to people all the time, but I really believe that God made me Jim Justice for a reason. And he made every last one of you who you are for a reason. And I believe if I just kicked back, didn't say anything, didn't do anything, when I know better, he's going to look at me and say, I'm not happy with you. That's the end of the story with me. Now, I screw up all the time, and I make a lot of mistakes. But absolutely in this one, I really believe that you have got to be complete nuts to vote for Amendment 2. The only reason you would have voted for it is to get rid of your car tax, and I've got a way to do that. Hands down, done. Done. Absolutely done. If you really and truly think that Charleston control is better than local control, you're out of your minds. Because first of all, the very people that are promising you this, the elected officials, may not even be there. They got to get elected again. They may not even be there if their intentions were the very best of the best. The other thing I'd say to you is just this. Listen to me on this. Bob Pruitt called me up on the phone probably 4 weeks ago. He said, what's this all about? I go through the whole thing. He said, well, let me tell you, and Coach Pruitt can be real colorful, and all of y'all know that. And I won't get into the color that he's mentioned. But he said, this is like a bunch of politicians saying to you, y'all give me all your money. Open up your wallets and give me all your money. And we as politicians will promise to give it back. Now, really? I mean, you are smart, good people. You cannot be that goofy. There's no way. But the only way they did, what they did is they tricked you. They said, do this and we'll get rid of your car tax. Even their ads are, we'll get rid of your car tax. Well, I'm telling you, without any question whatsoever, you can go online and look at the bill. That's all you got to do. Just pull it up. And the bill clearly says that basically what will happen, it'll be my first bill that'll go up January when they come into session. And imagine, and they're not suicidal, they're not crazy, because they know they're not going to be there if you don't vote for them. Can you imagine a delegate or a senator that won't vote to get rid of your car tax? What are they going to do? If this fails, and I think it will, if this fails, and I send up, get rid of your car tax, and they say no, well, they're gone. They're gone, and they know it. Every last one of them will line up just like a bunch of sheep, and they'll all vote yes. And then your car tax is gone forever. That quick. And it doesn't take a debate and 60 days of session and round and round and round and round for who knows how long. At that point in time, this man will start pushing the buttons, and the car tax you paid in September, you'll get it back in a rebate instantly for last year. So, car tax is gone. Now, really and truly, at the end of the day, you're voting to change the Constitution. 1932. Now, last of my last is just this. Bad stuff will happen. And here's my read on people wherever I've been. First of all, they didn't know. They couldn't have known. I didn't know either. They spent a year and a half running around under the cloak of darkness and telling commissions and everything else they were going to do this and that and everything. And it's funny numbers. It's just made up numbers. You know, but in all of that, for a year and a half it's going on. Now I said, let's do this on the income tax, and they said, no, we're not even going to vote. So they're caught. And then we say, well, get rid of the car tax, and now they're super caught. And they say, no, we still want you to vote for Amendment 2, because really and truly, that getting rid of the car tax is going to take you filling out a form, or it's going to take you doing something online. Really? They're caught. They're dead level caught. So when I'm talking to these people like yourselves, here's what the reaction is. First you didn't know, then you knew, and then you're mad. And I'll promise you, if you're not mad now, you'll be mad. I'll promise you to God above, you'll be mad. Because if this passes, what will happen, and I may very well be long gone as your governor, what will happen to your city and county is exactly what I'm telling you. And then you'll be mad. You're either mad now, or you're going to be madder than a scalded dog at some time. Because absolutely what is going to happen is just as sure as Jim is sitting here on this stool that's really sturdy. You know, and that, y'all didn't have to laugh about that. Is this, is do will happen. Guarantee it. It happens every day in your lives. It happens at your houses. It happens everywhere you can go. We think something is going to be like this, and it changes, and it's not quite that good. And then we got to change and fill in and do something. Think about it. What are we going to do about pay raises or PEI or Medicaid or what are we going to do about if the federal government comes out with a program that says we'll give you, like they are right now, we'll give you $7 billion for highways. $7 billion. But you got to put up $1 billion yourself over 5 years. $200 million a year. What are we going to do if all the surpluses are gone? What are we going to do? Do happens. And as soon as that happens and they can't balance it, they're going to have to come to you and cut you. It's exactly what was going on when I walked in the door the first time. The very first time. The only way they could possibly turn, the only thing they knew was cut. Well, I've been a business guy my whole blooming life, and in not in many situations can you cut your way out of a mess. They were bankrupt. And they've been cutting, and every time they cut, more people left. And the more people that left, the more picnics you couldn't have and everything else, because everybody was strung out all over the country. And absolutely, with all in that, they just kept dragging this hole with them. They couldn't get away from it. Bonds getting ready to be derated, everything under the sun. Everything. Everything was blowing up. You don't have to do this. You're going to go vote. You're going to go vote to change the Constitution and change something that's been working. You don't have to do this. This is silly. Ask me anything you want to ask, please. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all want to come up here and sit down? Huh? Oh, Mayor, come on up here and talk.
Governor, welcome back. Babydog.
She's got nuggets.
I'm bringing out some nuggets, though. Governor, when you came here a few weeks ago, I indicated to you that our city council was going to be considering a resolution tonight. This is a resolution opposing the proposed constitutional amendment 2 called the Property Tax Modernization Amendment. We're considering this tonight, and we will have a vote on this by City Council tonight. In short, what this points out are several things that you have said, Governor. In essence, it says, one of the whereases, the City of Huntington finds that there is no legislative plan for Amendment 2 as a plan to implement the serious changes contemplated by Amendment 2, which would require passage of new legislation that is now in existence or available for public review. Governor, the one concern that I have about this, if I was going to City Council, to the people of my community, and telling them that we were going to make a change in our charter that was going to change the way that we would go about collecting taxes, and I didn't give them a plan on it, people in this town would be throwing it right back at me just as quickly as I would suggest it. And City Council, if they would vote for it, frankly, would be taking the most irresponsible action that a council could ever imagine. My concern is this, Governor, is that if a local city council would never, ever consider something along these lines, and our state legislature has done this, and in essence saying, trust us, I know who I trust. I trust you and your administration. Because every time this city has needed help in dealing with the opioid crisis, dealing with flooding, helping be able to buy property for the redevelopment of the ACF property, the one party that has always been there has been you and your administration. Now, frankly, what we've experienced with the legislature is every time we've turned around, they've turned around and have said, well, city government needs to not be doing this. This is what's called preemption. In essence, they will pass legislation and says, cities don't make the decision, we'll make the decision in Charleston. And that's exactly what they're saying here. We're going to make the decision in Charleston. And you can bet your life on this. If Salt Rock isn't able to get a fire station or a fire truck, the legislature's not going to get blamed for that, for not appropriating that money. It's going to be the county commission that will get blamed for it. If I'm having to lay off police officers and firefighters after all that we've been through, you know we were nearly bankrupt when I became mayor, and we are stronger financially than we have been in 60 plus years. But if we came and all of a sudden we didn't have the means to be able to make these decisions ourselves, you know who they're going to blame? Not the legislature. They're going to be blaming the mayor. we're going to be blaming the city council. This is a mistake. And frankly, I'm amazed that they even brought this forward. This is malpractice. This is irresponsible. And frankly, I'm looking forward to the citizens of our counties, Cabell and Wayne counties, of realizing just what is being placed here. And the fact of the matter is that this is a mistake and we must vote no. We must vote no. So we will be passing this. Better be careful. I'm taking this I'm confident that we will pass this, and I'm taking this to the wisdom of Huntington City Council this evening, that they will vote in favor of this amendment, saying that we do not support the amendment because it ends in this, with this. Be it resolved that the City of Huntington, for the reasons set forth above, opposes the passage of Amendment 2 in order to further the safety and well-being of its residents and visitors.
Y'all need to clap now.
And she didn't bite this Democrat either.
Mr. Governor, there is a place, should that pass, and the counties lose their money, so that there will be no fire truck, there will be no infrastructure aid, there will be less police on the road, less sheriff, less everything, that the money will probably have to be made up, and that is that the county will say to all you folks, you wanted your car
Here comes the
free.
punchline. Now listen,
You
y'all
wanted
listen to
your
this.
car free, but you wanted all these other things too. So now then, we'll just raise the amount of your property tax to cover what that shortage is. And the counties, that can be done. You're now taxed on 60% of the value of your property, Mr. Assessor. And that could be done. So you won't save, pardon me, a damn thing. All you do is take it out of one pocket and put it in the other. And that's the reason I feel, not speaking for the commission, but personally, that it's best to vote no.
Y'all can clap for him too. Let me just say this. This is the thing you've got to get out of the conversation. You're getting rid of your car tax no matter what. No matter what you do. Every last human in the state could vote, against this, and you're getting rid of the car tax. The car tax is gone. It's gone. But what this great gentleman is speaking about is just this, is if your car tax is not even an issue out there, but you don't have a way to fund your services that are going on here, then the only thing in the world, and if the state says, well, we don't have the money, tough luck, then the only thing they can do is raise your taxes. So it could be double down. That's why I said, okay, listen to the punchline coming, because it's bad, isn't it? It could be really bad. Here's the thing that is, your mayor said it's borderline malpractice. Think about this. Can somebody go back and say, well, why in the world have they done this? They've done this for themselves, for the swamp. They've done it because, they want to run for governor. They want to run for this. They got promises of money. It's rotten. It's just flat rotten. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you, from my standpoint, without any question, there's no way. There's no way. In the next couple of years, I could just go out there and cut every ribbon and ride every parade. My God, you'd line up all over the place. The greatest governor we ever had. And then I'm just done. And not do this. And not do this at all. But I am telling you, what you better focus on is this so much isn't about y'all right here. It's more about them right there and those little fellows in the back. It's about us. My gracious sakes of living, we've come so far. Think about what the city of Huntington's done. I mean, my good Lord of liberty, are you kidding me? I mean, when I was here at Marshall, which was a few years ago, you know, but Huntington was the greatest town, period. It was almost like a sweater town. It was the greatest town under the sun. The cleanest, just the nicest. I mean, it was so good. It was heaven, honestly. And then you had some tough stuff. Dupe happens. You got some really tough stuff. And then all of a sudden there had to be a whole lot of bearing down and whatever, police efforts and on and on and on and on and on. And now you're really on your way back. You've done amazingly well. And absolutely, just keep it going, Mayor, keep it going, you know, commissioners and council people and everything, keep it going. I mean, my heavens to Betsy, keep it going for all y'all. You know, yes, sir.
Gotta say, Paul Davis, I run the bus system here in town, TTA.
Right.
And I think a lot of people haven't really realized that, you know, the voters in Cabell County and the city of Huntington and many other counties throughout the state have voted for these property tax levies in order to help sustain these local services like the health department, TTA, EMS, and
Right.
our fire departments and seniors. And I don't think everybody's put two and two together that if this thing passes, this is going to adversely affect us too. And so now you got all this thing going on in the counties and the cities that are losing, you know, revenue, but these levies that people, the voters overwhelmingly supported in Cabell and Huntington at 80% plus. And so we need to defeat this daggone thing.
Think about that just for a second. You know, how apt are you if you're getting hammered in every direction known to man as people to pass a levy? I mean, what if the buses can't run in town? What if the senior centers are upside down? What if absolutely you can't do stuff at your schools or the firemen? How are you going to make it with 80% of the policemen? You know, I mean, and then all of a sudden you're asked to vote for a school levy or whatever it may be, or whatever, you're not going to vote. You're not going to vote for it at all. Then all of a sudden everything starts unraveling. Remember, I told you a second ago, to me, the most important thing of my entire governorship is at stake right now. And that's why I'm here.
Governor,
Yes, sir.
I'm Jeff Maddox, Commissioner in Wayne County, and the other commissioners are here as well. We left our commission meeting somewhat early and drove into Huntington today to be here.
To see Babydog.
Well, that's right. And although this is the third time I've been through this presentation, I think it's so important. I mean, as a county, not just what Commissioner Morgan said, I mean, the money will have to be made up somewhere essentially, and our assessor is here as well. Approximately 27% of our budget's at risk with this. 27%, of that 27%, 100% of that 27% stays in our county. And if we lose that and have to go looking, I mean, it will come through personal I'm a real estate broker, and I understand the state of Kentucky, state of Ohio pays about twice what we do in real estate taxes.
Sure.
You know, I work there, so I know the eyes. I've sat in too many meetings where Senator Tarr and others have spoken and made that point that our real estate taxes are too low, so people may be able to get their cars for free, but they're going to pay a great deal more. I feel like that will be the
But now
incentive.
stop. You're going to get your cars for free anyway.
Right. But my point is this, is that they are the ones that are saying, we took your car tax away, but the county level is the one raising your real estate taxes. They're the ones implementing countywide sales taxes. So they put the burden back on the counties to be the evildoers, and they get to be the good guys sitting in charge.
Do we clap for him now?
Sorry.
No.
Do we clap for him now?
I think you ought to clap for our assessor. He jumped off the bridge.
I'm glad that.
Or somebody shoved him, I'm not sure.
My wife signed me up, it's all good.
Well, if you'd like to see something good happening, there's 4 drug court participants getting ready to graduate downstairs.
but you aren't gonna walk me slam flat to death.
It's only one floor down.
Okay. I think it's great. I think it's really good. Ask anything, you got me. You know, yes, sir.
Have you seen any current polling on what this is looking like? Because I think when it started, it was going to be a home run easily, but and kudos for you for getting out here, because without your help, I think it was going to be overwhelmingly a yes.
Yeah.
So is there any thoughts on that?
I think you know, look, I'd love to just pat myself on the back and say, yeah, Jim. But the only reason it was going to be an overwhelmingly passed deal was you just didn't know. You just didn't know. Somebody had to tell you. Now, here's what I've seen, and here's what I believe, and I can't tell you anything but just what I think. I really believe it would have been passed 85 to 15% if we hadn't have gotten gold. We were late to the party. They did a lot of groundwork before we ever got going. Now, the last poll that I saw was what Metro News did. And Metro News did a poll about a week ago. Now, this is hard to believe. 85-15, it would have passed by. Metro News' poll was 14% of the people don't know what they're going to do. Literally, 22% of the people said they're going to vote for it. 63% of the people said no. You know, to what I think is, if you'll do just this one thing, and that is, you'll realize that the people are way more powerful than the government when the people speak. You know, I'm a believer in you. I'm a believer in the people. Honest to goodness, if you want to put a stake in the personal income tax forever, not ever happening, anybody in this room, if you closed your eyes and you said, well, what would bring more growth to West Virginia than anything, period, it's the income tax. My God, living, you don't have to think about it. Tennessee, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, you know, Texas, South Dakota, Wyoming. Who wants to go to South Dakota? Give me a break. You know, but literally, all these places are just booming like crazy. You know, all the people of this country have to drive through us to almost get there. To a Tennessee or Kentucky, Texas or Florida. But literally, we are now becoming that diamond in the rough that everybody missed. Do you not think we would grow like crazy? And the other flip side of it is this: if we gave you back the money that we're trying to give big giant corporations, you'd spend it here. You'd be our own stimulus package. Right now, big giant corporations may very well take the money overseas. Who knows where they're located? You know, I mean, it makes no sense. None. I really believe that if you will take on being the disciples, and you'll really get out and you'll bring to the poll, you'll bring your in-laws and outlaws and everything else with you, this thing will get blown up in a big way. Right now it's a chance for you to show who you are. But you got to do it. You can't just go home, go to sleep. You did an amazing thing coming here today. But you got to get with it now. Because I'm here to tell you, you got big money that's going to come into play in this last little stretch. And you got so many folks that still believe, vote for Amendment 2, get rid of your car tax. You know, I'm telling you, you got to really get with it right now. I mean, it's really important. And from my standpoint, look, I'm going to ride the wave to the end anyway. If this thing blows up, I'll know I came out here and gave it my very best. I mean, I've gone everywhere. And I'm going to keep going everywhere. And at the end of the day, if it blows up, I'll know I've given it my best and best and best. But the other thing, you'll have to deal with me, because I'll run into you in Walmart or somewhere. And I'll look right at you and say, I told you so. Because it will be bad. At some point in time, it'll be really bad. Anybody else got anything? Now, will you please do this? If you really believe what I'm telling you, please, please, go tell people. Get them to vote. The vote turnout won't be big, but you need to crush them. You need to crush them with this, because they have purposefully hid it from you. God, it doesn't get any more rotten than that. They've hidden this from you. You know, and basically then couched it as a way to tell you, do this and get rid of your car tax, and the car tax didn't mean squat to them. It didn't mean anything. At the end of the day, it was all about machinery and inventory, and the last of my last. Think about the companies that are coming. Nucor, Berkshire Hathaway, Pure Watercraft, Green Power. They just keep calling and calling. I'm meeting people tomorrow in Weirton, you know, big outfits wanting to come to Weirton. And I'm meeting next week with people in southern West Virginia, Bud, West Virginia, down near Mullins. Big outfits that are coming. They're coming and everything. Zero have asked me about the machinery and inventory tax. Zero. Why in the world are we doing that? Absolutely. If you want to be able to have people come, you have surpluses and have packages that you can put together. Everybody wants a package of stimulus to come. It's working. It's working. My dad has said 1,000 million times, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it's working. Anybody else got any question?
I do, again.
Okay, sir.
If you and Dave work on the state budget and you set the income and the expenditures and we have a surplus. I've served in the legislature, so I know you can sort of, you can have some figures that are up and down, and we do have a surplus, at least that's as reported. Would that surplus be better spent on salaries for correctional, salaries for teachers, more roads, better education, help the higher education? Nucor says they've got to go to Columbus, Ohio to find people to work in that plant. Can we not do something that, with that money, that actually will be a long-range plan to help West Virginia?
I mean, let me just answer. I mean, absolutely. At the end of the day, you know, again, this gentleman is wisdom, you know. But at the end of the day, this is all about just this, you know. We can have 10 more corporations. We want them to come. We want them all to come. We don't have anybody here to work. We need people here. We need people in West Virginia. There's so many things that he just named that will make it more attractive for people to come. You got to add in too, get on a pathway. It doesn't have to be done tomorrow. Get on a pathway of getting rid of your income tax. Because if you don't think that will drive people where you're not drive people where you're crazy. But anyway, he is dead right. Do things that incentivize people to come here. That's what we're speaking about. Is that not correct, sir? We got to have people. For crying out loud, can you imagine what it would do for our schools and everything, and their tax base, and then the roads and everything? At the end of the day, you know, we got to stop these crazy ideas. We got to stop this stuff because it's selfish. It's really the swamp, and it's selfish. It really is.
Thank you for coming to Cabell County.
No, thank y'all so much. Y'all are really kind.